Do not be deceived by that BMW that you may drive. Do not be deceived by the bungalows that you may live in, the beautiful clothes that you may wear. Do not be deceived by this dunya. Why? وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. This dunya is deceiving. Why? Because everything with this dunya will come to an end, and this dunya will also come to an end. Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ahmad al-Qusri relates that in Istanbul, there was a governor, he died. They dug a grave for him. When they were on the verge of lowering this body inside the grave, do you know what they saw inside the grave? They saw a black snake waiting for him inside the grave. They were terrified. Naturally, they were terrified. They didn't want to bury this guy inside this grave, so they dug another grave. Now they've spent hours digging the second grave. They're on the verge of lowering the body inside the grave, and you know what? The same snake they saw in the first is waiting in the second. They dig a third grave. When they're on the verge of lowering this grave, all of a sudden, out of the blue, they find the same black snake inside the grave. The narration says that on that day, they dug about 30 graves. Every time the grave was dug and they were on the verge of lowering this body inside the grave, they would find the same black snake waiting. Where are you going to hide? It doesn't come any clearer than this. Where are you going to hide? Allah. You know, even when you've gone 6 foot under, you can't get away. You've left the dunya and you've gone 6 foot under and you think you've got away with it. This is where it will begin. You know, fed up after digging so many graves, they consulted the ulama. What should we do with this person? May Allah protect us. They said, you know what? Just bury him inside the grave. Leave the rest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they buried him. Sayyidina Uthman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he would stand next to a grave, tears would begin to flow from his eyes. And the people would say to Uthman Ghani, "Oh Uthman, the mention of Jannat and Jahannam is made. Yet you don't cry when the mention of the grave is made. Oh Uthman, you cry so much that your blessed beard becomes wet." Sayyidina Uthman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu responded, "Yo Muslimano, I've heard Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam say, Qabr, the grave, is the first stage of the stages of the hereafter of the akhirah. Whoever succeeds at the stage of the grave, he will find that every stage that is coming thereafter will be easy for him till he will enter paradise. But if he doesn't succeed at this stage inside the grave, he will find that every stage that is to come thereafter, the plane of resurrection, the accountability, and then Jannah and Jahannam, he will find that every stage thereafter will be zillions and zillions of times more difficult. You will die just like you lived. You know, if you've lived whining and dining, chilling and thrilling, and giving preference to the dunya over the akhirah, and then you think in your little mind that on the point of death, you will utter the kalima la ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, or you will die reciting dhikr, or sending salutations on Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or you will die in the state of prostration. Then, my friend, people like you and me are living in cuckoo land. We're living in cuckoo land. My friend, even now you have time. Refrain from sin. Come to Allah and His Rasul. You still have time. This is what Allah gives us the reminders.